Numbers chapter number 23, verse 19 says this. El, that is Yahweh Elohim, El is not a man to lie, nor a son of man to repent. Or another translation says, change his mind. Has he said, and would he not do it, or spoken and would not confirm it? Rhetorical questions. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 3 of the Torah portion, Trumah, which means contributions. And yes, we are going to continue in chapter number 25 of the book of Shemot or Exodus. And yes, we'd like to look at some of the verses we've already looked at and look at them again. Verse number 1 and 2 says, Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel. Everything that follows is directed in particular to the children of Israel. So verse 8 is also directed to the children of Israel, where it says, and they, the children of Israel, shall make me a set-apart place, and I shall dwell in there, in the children of Israel's midst. So what am I getting at? The offer that is made to build a dwelling place for the Most High is given to one single group of people. That people is identified for us here in the Torah as Yisrael. The offer to build this house for the Most High has never been offered to anyone else. Because Yah, as we stated in Numbers 23, does not change his mind. He did not make a mistake when he initially called Yisrael. He's not made a mistake since then by saying, I changed my mind. So the offer to build the house belonging only to Yisrael tells us something. No one else is permitted to build a house for him. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't have places to worship. Certainly, we gather, we worship, we celebrate him. But to say that we have built this magnificent structure with all of its architectural grandeur and furnishings and light shows and facilities, and get it in our heads that somehow this replaces Yah's set-apart place in the land of Israel on the Temple Mount where he will rebuild his house, that's a fallacy. We will never build so grand a structure anywhere in the world that Yah is obligated, I guess is the word I'm looking for, obligated to show up just because, well, we built this place for you. World religions, they are being married together, if I'm not mistaken, in Dubai, where there is a great temple being built for Christianity, one for Islam, and one for Judaism, all on the same property. And it is this syncretizing of all of these religions into one cohesive facility area, 3 separate buildings, but all mankind can come and worship. I don't see that that's anything that Yah has obligated himself to be a part of. What this does say, he is going to dwell in the midst of a people who work with him, live before him, partner with him, are called out to be separate by him by virtue of covenant. The covenant that he has offered to Abraham is the covenant, the only covenant that he offers that mankind can come and be connected vitally, redemptively, righteously with him. That is not to say that if you're not Jewish, you can't be born again. That's the way it's been purported. Let's understand this. When Yah gives this directive in our reading today in chapter 25. It's to all Am Yisrael. This includes all the tribes. 10 of those tribes were driven out of the land because of their wayward hearts. The northern kingdom, known as Ephraim, known as Samaria, known as the house of Israel. They were taken out of the land in 722 BCE. They've never been back. They've been scattered the world over. Maybe we could say we have been scattered the world over. That being understood, Yeshua has come, according to Matthew chapter 15, to look for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, to provide a way for us to come back. John 3:16, that famous verse, whosoever will, he said. The way that he has provided a bridge for you and I to come back to the covenant and be restored to the identity of Am Yisrael is available to anyone who is also willing to take that same journey. To be born again, to be a part of the body of Messiah, is to join ourselves to this covenant entity called Am Yisrael. The restoration of all things that we've talked about this week already. It's about you and I coming back and being a part of that. So, two things. Number one, I want to address the idea then that we can worship Yah according to our own set of protocols and our own imaginations and our own desires and our own edifices that replace whatever edifices that may have existed before that Yah had authorized, and that we can live our own lifestyle. We're not bound to any protocols. We're not bound to the tenets of the Torah. He has given us His grace so that we can be free and have liberty and just enjoy life in front of Him without any boundaries. That's not true. That's simply not the word. He did not redeem us to bind us up, to overburden us with law, with legalism. That's not true either. Well, what is true? We have a covenant that declares the benefits that the Father has offered to us, desires to bring into our lives, and He's also taught us how to live our daily living, how to relate to one another and our family relationships, our community relationships, how to do our business, when to throw our parties, what our parties should be thrown for, how to worship Him, how to engage Him, how to walk honorably before Him. And if we have issues in our community between ourselves and someone else, how to resolve them, how to remain pure and undefiled. This is the lifestyle of those that are born again. Let's keep that part simple. The other part I'd like to talk about is an unfortunate occurrence that is, I can't hardly believe it takes place, but it's the spirit of anti-Semitism that at times rises up in the ranks of the Hebrew roots community. This is unfathomable to me. It's beyond my reasonable imagination how that we can look at any other part of our own body and be slanderous and malicious and casting aside and curl up our lips and get angry about them. Do we know them? Have we tried to walk with them? In particular against the house of Yehuda, the Jews. Look, they are a part of the body that Yah wants to redeem, is redeeming, has redeemed. They will be included in the kingdom. He did not ask you or me for our permission. He loves them, has always loved them, and will always love them. And they're going to be there. And how and why and how all the things are going to work out, that's between Yah and them. Leave it alone. Love them, support them, pray for them, encourage them, get to know them. We're going to be together in the kingdom. And all of Am Yisrael is going to be there to build a house for Him to dwell in the midst of us. That's the kingdom. And we'll talk more tomorrow. To then, shalom.